Welcome everyone. In this new video tutorial about the multiplayer combat editor, in this video we are going to learn how to implement the action cancel logic. So what is this? So if you remember, we implemented the state machine of our character in previous videos where we were specifying different rules between the action of our character. So for instance, skill 1 prevents skill 2 or cancels skill 2. And some of these events are automatically triggered. So for instance, if you say skill 1 cancels skill 2 and you are using skill 2 when pressing skill 1, it's automatically going to cancel skill 2 because it's hard coded in the skills that they automatically cancel each other if the case happens. But some of the actions, so I'm just going to open up our character and I'm going to add up to our action logic, and I'm going to open up one of the enumerator of the list of action just so I can show you what I mean. So some of these actions are handled by MCE features, like I was saying, like skills, so primary fire and primary skills and all the others. But some others are not automatically handled by MCE. When I mean handled, I mean MC does not know how to cancel your reload action, for instance. How to cancel your jump or sprint or move action. It can't know how to cancel them in case something asks it to cancel your move action. It doesn't know what cut to execute. And I was talking about the skills because as you might know, when following this video, if you open up a skill, when we build our skill, we can call a function named event cancel use, and that event is called when that skill get cancelled. And that's because I know when that action is cancelled, so MC automatically handles that. But the other, I couldn't build such a logic. So some of these actions we have to we have to tell by code what's going on when we cancel some of these. So in this video, we're going to learn how to implement such a logic, and maybe we are going to specify some base logic for basic actions to cancel. So we are going to open up our interface category, action category. And for a stack action is kind of the cancel logic, but it's even an harder topic to cover, and that's going to be the subject of another video. But we actually need to, I realize the function I was looking for is not here. We have to bring it down by right clicking on our event graph and typing in cancel event call action cancel, like this. And this is bringing us a node that is called when that character is asked to cancel an action. So I'm trying to find a logical example. So for instance, I'm currently casting a skill, but someone stuns me. So it's going to call that event and telling me that if I'm switching on the enumerator action there and open up the big node, if I'm being stunned while performing a skill, it's going to throw that event into that node, and for instance into that node if it was my second skill that got cancelled. And the same case applies for the other actions I was mentioning that are not automatically handled by MC, and these are the actions you want to build your logic after. So for instance, if we What could we implement quickly? Right now, we are just going to say that if we hit shift, the shift key, we are going to ask for our primary skill to stop, for instance. So let's create that node, left shift, and let's say we are going to call action cancel like this, and we are going to say we want to shut down primary skill. Actually, we want to cancel all skills, I suppose. Yeah, but that's not going to showcase what I want, because you can call this and it's going to shut down all of your skills automatically. But it's not going to showcase what I want. So for instance, we are just going to add a print to our primary skill event like this. Left shift cancel, I mean. Let's hit this. So when we hit shift, it's printing our stuff. And I was saying that these actions are automatically handled. And what I meant by that is that some of the primary skill and fire and secondary fire, I meant these actions are automatically handled by MC. What I meant was a lot of built-in features are already canceling the skills when they should be canceled. So for instance, from the action manager, from the state machine. But you can implement your own canceling logic by creating stuff like this. So for instance, when you left shift, it cancels your primary skill. And what we are going to say here, we are going to say we want to try cancel our skill, and what skill it is, we want to get active skill, and we want to get the 0. And it's asking us for targets. If we hit compile, it's going to throw an error because that node is supposed to be dragged off a skill manager like this. So we are saying when we call action cancel primary skill, we want to try to cancel our first skill. So if we hit play, hit click shift, it's calling the node, but it's not doing anything. We are going to print the value out of the skill cancelled. Hit compile, hit play. It's telling us it's managed to cancel the skill. And I know what's going on. It's actually working. Everything is properly firing. Except that the base cancel logic of all skills basically does nothing but stopping the skill, and stopping the skill does not cancel the animation. So we need to tell our skill what's going on. So as you can see, before implementing that logic, if we do not hit left shift, we can't spam the skill. But if we spam left shift, we can spam the skill. Why is it so? Because left shift does cancel our skill. For our state machine is actually considering that our skill is ended when we press left shift, as you can see on the top left corner of your screen. And if you don't hit left shift, it's not going to cancel your action. Slice is actually failing to to record when we retrigger the skill. And I'm not sure why, but that's for another subject. So if we hit left shift, we can spam our skill because we successfully cancel the skill, but the skill doesn't have the proper logic to. It doesn't know what to do when it gets cancelled, so we need to tell it what it should do when it gets cancelled. So let's dive right in your skill. I don't know what that is. Mine is BP slice. So I'm going to go there and right click and type in cancel. I'm going to try to find event trigger cancel effects like this. And I actually need to go to my BP skill just to make sure that event is called properly. Maybe I need to do some logic to Yep, that's right. Specific cancel use is never called. Yep. So we need to override the cancel use function as well. And we need to call specific cancel use. So basically what have we done there? So back on our skill, we told our skill that when it gets cancelled, it calls that logic. And that logic is going to call that event that we can use to handle what happens when the skill gets cancelled. And we need to be calling this because I implemented a logic that says that when you cancel a skill, it is calling by default the stop behavior instead of the cancel behavior. And just implementing that logic tells the skill that it should be calling the cancel behavior and not the stop behavior. And what have I done that? Because most of the time, cancel and stop does the same thing, and sometimes it does not. And fewer time it does not. So fewer time you have to implement that logic. So it's convenient to do it this way. And if you happen to be implementing that logic all the time, that means you need to check the videos about building a skill behavior. So diving back to our video, once you've called that node, you want to say switch on authority. And what is everyone going to see when you cancel that skill? We are going to see cancel anim. I want to be canceling the anim montage like that. So if we hit compile, hit play, when you hit left shift, it's going to cancel your skill. And cancel your animation at the same time. Like this. But maybe you don't want to interrupt your skills, so maybe you want to interrupt, I'm going to call that again. Maybe you want to interrupt your moving action, I don't know. So maybe you want to call action cancel on your move event. So basically that event is called whenever your character is asked to cancel an action. So for instance, if you've already been through the crowd control and the statuses videos, you might already know how to cancel, how to silence, stun, and apply such controls, so such crowd controls. And such crowd controls are actually firing that event on your character. So you need to implement that event and properly build your cancel move logic, for instance, if you want your stun event to properly work So for instance, if you want to cancel move, you can say move, stop movement immediately, hit compile, hit play, and when you move and hit left shift, nothing happens. Why? That's because our moving logic is using, where is it? Unreal Code, mouse input, gamepad input. Alright, move forward and move right are axis events, so they are being called as long as you're holding the input. So even if we are saying that we should be canceling our move, it only stops the move action once. So for instance, if we move and hit left shift, we are not even seeing the move action being removed from our action overlay. And that's because once again, that's because the input event is firing all the time. So if you want to cancel move, you actually and are actually using such a logic, you can't be doing it this way. You'll have to say that you want to forbid an action and you want to allow an action, for instance. But that's the subject of another video. So how can I give another example? So for instance, reload. We are going to do something quite silly. We are just going to say, hey, we want to add an action. Reload. Reload prevents our primary skill and reload prevents moving. I know that's not, we are not going to prevent move. We're just going to prevent primary skills, and we are also going to cancel the primary skill with our reload. By default, reload is going to be R. This is going to be called reload. Like that. And we are going to set at left shift action cancel, reload, and when we press R, we are going to reload. And what is reload going to do? It's going to set a timer by event. It's actually going to play a montage on our character, which is going to be, I don't know, any montage I have. I'm going to quickly find for a montage to play when I reload. For instance, that one, I don't care. Hit back. Create any montage out of this. Yup, I'm going to play that any montage with play rate 0.5. This is the duration of the montage. I'm going to set a timer by event. Like this, it's looking like a reload. Let's say you hit R, it's playing your reload animation, and it's waiting for a timer to reload your gun, and it's the same logic. So it's going to be our reload timer like this, and we are not going to create an event. Sorry, we are going to create a custom event named reload. Like that. So when we press R, it's playing an animation and it's triggering a timer which lasts for the duration of the animation. And reload is going to print reloaded. for instance. And then when we press left shift, it's going to call action cancel. So you can call this on anything that has an action manager. Yep. So we are going to cancel reload. What is reload going to do? It's going to stop anim montage. What anim montage is it? It's the anim montage we chose for our reload action. And it's going to get our reload timer, clear and invalidate timer by handle, like this. Hit compile, hit save, hit play. And when we hit R, our character is playing an animation. And it's not displaying our print to string reloaded. Why is it not? Yep, server reloaded. Okay, I know why. That value is not being scaled by the play rate we are infusing there, and it does not matter. This is just an animation. We can be specifying that this is the reload play rate, and we can multiply this by that and plug that here and say that our reload, we need to compile, and then we can say that our reload play rate is 0.5. I think we actually want to divide the animation duration by that, like this, and we want to hit play, and when we hit R, it's now displaying reloading at the right time when the animation is over. And if we hit left shift, it's going to stop the animation and never call our reload print. So we implemented the logic a bit quickly, but you can imagine that, for instance, you are shooting with your, you are shooting with your gun, and then you reload, but someone stuns you. If someone stuns you, you need to have your little reload cancel logic implemented if you want your reload to be properly canceled. If you want the status logic of MCE that automatically shuts down everything needed when you apply a stun, when you apply a crowd control, everything is built in MCE. If you want these systems to behave correctly with your character systems, custom systems, like reload, sprint, move, and jump, you need to be implementing that event and calling your actions properly and calling the proper nodes you want. So this is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.